Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I am your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to be with you and always excited to share the news with you, folks. And I have basically a bombshell report. Paul Sperry from Real Clear Investigations put this together. I'm going to kind of mix it with the news of the day. I have some thoughts about why this is so important on this day and what it means in light of all the other things that we're hearing from yesterday and the day before. Because what we are seeing is that the deep state dies hard, folks. It dies very hard. So do me a favor, please smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from. I have the illustrious Mike Lindell joining me today. Mike up on all things Washington as he goes out there and visits. More dealing with elections, but this kind of ties into that, Mike.
Right on.
And I do want to mention too, we've got the big deals going on right now, the early Black Friday specials going on at mypillow.com/lumberjack, and the free shipping on the entire order.
I wanted to quick say something about that, you guys. This time of year, all the shipping companies raise our price of shipping. It happens every year. This just went up, so we're going to be able to. My Pillow, we're shipping free for you guys. Anything you ship today using promo code Lumberjack, but that's going to be going away. We're going to try and run it through the weekend. So go ahead and get it today, along with these Black Friday specials. The slippers, $39.98. You got those 5 Bible pillows.
That's my favorite.
Pillows for $29. What is that? $29.99. They are $29.98. That's $6 a Christmas gift. That's amazing, you guys. So
it's awesome.
Take advantage of that. You guys get that free shipping, and using that promo code Lumberjack, you get 5 My Pillows for $6, under $6 a piece. Can't beat it.
And they're awesome because you got the artwork and then the Bible story on the back. You can read it to the kids before they go to bed. They're sleeping on the word. Surround yourself with the word because the word is life, because the word is truth. And what leads us to life is truth. Okay. So anyways.
And another big announcement. I know for you, Neil, I know your favorite product is the Giza Dream Sheets. You guys,
yes,
we just got the shipment in, you guys, on the Giza Dream Sheets. You're going to save up to 50% there, as low as $29.98. But and free shipping. But here's the kicker. We've waited quite a while. As all of you know, you're probably looking for your colors and your sizes. They all came in a very limited quantity, so get them right now, because I would bet after Cyber Monday you're going to have hard to find your sizes and colors again. So right now they just came in, Neil. They were just put up today on the website.
Super. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for letting me know that.
And then don't forget Rev 7, you guys. All the stuff we need to do this during the next month here with Thanksgiving and Christmas. The best energy drink in history, you guys. It's no sugar, no caffeine, and I swear by it. It is so awesome.
Yes, it is. It's fantastic. I love it before cycle class when I teach group cycle. Okay, so folks, there you go. mypillow.com/lumberjack or call 1-800-568-2865. But folks, we have a deep state apparatus working harder today than I have seen it in recent history. And I think it's because, Mike, the reality is there has been some fracturing in the mega base. There are some poll numbers that are down for Trump, and that's actually from real polls, not like the fake news polls. So they smell blood in the water. And so the deep state protects its own and it dies hard. So I want to just point this out to you. Donald Trump Jr. posted this. This has been reported in multiple outlets, but the Bush family is planning to reclaim control of the Republican Party when the Trump presidency comes to an end. Don't think they're not thinking this, people.
Right. It's the old uniparty, the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas. This is what we really didn't know. I didn't want to believe it back when I started uncovering all this. This is just pure evil coming back in, that would try and come back in. Of course, evil's going to try and come back in. And I'll tell you what, they don't have a chance if we do what? Get the paper ballots in. It all comes back to that.
It all comes back to securing the elections.
That's right.
You can't control what you can't steal.
That's right.
In that space. And I know, Paul Sperry uncovered this big story, but I think I want to play this video. I'm sure some of you have seen this, But this is the Democrats releasing this video about why you need to defy orders from Trump. And this is going to play right in to this news report today. So I think it's very important to watch this first.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
Keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So, Mike, this
Wow.
is I
It's
am telling
laughable. It's laughable. I want to say something right off the bat here, everybody. Are you listening to this? This is what they did to us, to My Pillow, to everybody, our citizens 3 years ago. Arctic Frost, the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ. They attacked us. They did exactly what they're saying. You know,
that's what they always do. That's why we call them
I mean, this is beyond belief. If everybody remembers when I confronted those FBI agents at Hardee's in Mankato, Minnesota, I said, "You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You're doing stuff." I said, "I've done nothing wrong. These citizens, you bashed their doors in. They did nothing wrong. They're talking about doing something illegal. That's what the FBI and stuff was basically doing. And it's all coming out. What they did was criminal. What they did against Arctic Frost was absolutely criminal. And that's what they're talking here. And, you're exactly right. They just flip it on its head. Evil is good, good is evil. Evil is good, good is evil,
Well, and now you've got all the Democrats are making the media rounds. Trump's calling for us because he posted about seditious behavior and treason, and it's punishable by death. And here's what I find so interesting. I'm going to bring a couple tweets in here that I found. Okay, so here it is. This is the seditious behavior punishable by death. Okay, and I love this is Democrats are posting this. Trump just called for the death of Democratic elected officials. Absolutely vile. And Data Republican said, here's an easy way to avoid calls for capital punishment. Don't commit crimes that are punishable by capital punishment.
I mean, you read that truth there that's out. Who said anything about any Democrats there?
Well, this is it.
He's talking about deep state criminals. These ones that I've got evidence with our elections that go back to Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Obama and the Clintons. I mean, this is stuff that just keeps pouring out, everybody, and this is what he's talking about. How can we let these crimes against all humanity go by? And that's what he's talking about. Just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean you're a criminal. It doesn't say that there.
No, I think they're kind of outing themselves here, Mike.
Yeah. It sounds like they're feeling, whoever typed that, they're feeling very guilty of something.
Exactly.
They're feeling guilty, Oh, really? Whoever said that, it's like, you accuse someone of something and all of a sudden they admit it. I mean, it's like ridiculous. I go, whoever said I was talking about you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll run out. Hey, he must have been talking about me. I did produce the video that's said to be seditious and
right.
conspirator. I love this one. Matt Walsh posted most disappointing flip flop of all time. President Trump does not want to execute members of Congress. And he's like most disappointing flip flop of all time. He's hilarious. And here's your favorite guy, Cenk. I prefer presidents who don't threaten to murder their political opponents. And Sean Ferris, the great Trump impersonator, said, I didn't see a murder threat anywhere, Cenk. I prefer people who aren't drama queens on social media.
Right, right. Yeah, that Cenk's quite a character. You guys, I went on the Young Turks with Cenk, and his gal partner actually just made a comment to one of our Lindell TV people that she was doing something with. She said, she gave me a greatest compliment. She said, he's one of the most genuine, transparent people I've ever met in my life. Because when I went on their show, everybody, I believe we were at the first time I went on, I think was at the RNC convention, the Republican convention, and then I went on a show, I think 2 or 3 times after and one of the rules I had was that Cenk did not use God's name in vain. And he didn't. I couldn't take watching his show the way he would always use God's name in vain. And he abided by that, and we got along great. We actually came to huge common ground.
I know.
That, huge common ground, everybody, that
Right.
everybody should want secure elections with paper ballots hand counted. He actually was kind of, I guess the word would be surprised that was what I was fighting for, because I told him straight out, I said, no, I said, everyone's saying Mike Lindell wants to overturn the 2020 election. Was the 2020 election stolen? 100% it was stolen. But once I found out what I found out, I'm going, hey, we got a bigger problem. Not just that one election. We're talking all elections. And Cenk got that. And we really get this common ground and going, I said to him, what if I'm right? What if I'm 100% right? He said, that would be the scariest thing ever, that our elections are controlled by computers. And I said, well, they are. And then and I said, it's been proven 132 other countries that have paper ballots hand counted, how beautiful it is. And he was all on board. They both were with that. But it kind of changed it really changed their view of what I'm standing for and why I've made such an incredible 5-year stand, even though Donald Trump's in power. Neil, you don't see all the media going, look at Mike Lindell, we're still attacking him. Why are we still attacking him? He got what he wanted. Donald Trump's the president. Donald Trump's the president. Well, if that's the case, everybody, they wouldn't be attacking me anymore. It goes so much deeper,
Yeah. Do you know, Mike? Well, if you remember, that was at the RNC, and I got you that interview. And you told me initially you didn't want to do it because he always used the Lord's name in vain. But then you went to talk to him.
Yeah.
He was really eager to get you on because one thing that the left likes is they like seeing Mike Lindell. I mean, because they think they're going to be able to make fun of you. And then you had a good interview. And Anna, actually, I did a full interview with Anna, and she actually ended up being, pretty decent interview.
Yeah. They both, and that's right. You were there. You did get that, and I'm open. For me, I'm open to going on any show on the left, but I'm going to go on. I'm not going to be going on there, and changing or looking at other opinions because I have all the evidence. I've had it. I've seen it. They can't argue that, and they all. I think they think they're coming at me at a different angle. That he's a. We're going to tell him how, somehow we're going to be able to bash Mike Lindell and somehow that'll help get rid of Donald Trump. Well, no, what we're talking about here is voting machines. Donald Trump's already in power. I mean, that's just the way it is. But we've got to, that everything that we fought for can't end up being in vain. And I think I've said this before, Neil, people on the left, media on the left, I believe will come around long before Fox News and Newsmax. I really believe that. These other places are good examples that I've been going on, and you even see CNN somewhat changing common sense things they start seeing now. Maybe they're doing it just because they can get more viewership because they lost all their viewership.
Do you know what's interesting? So I now Barry Weiss wants to basically burn the ship at CBS. She's like, we need complete turnover. She's actually asking more for like what Elon Musk did when he first came in and the agencies were saying, send us an email of what you did today. That's Barry Weiss now at CBS. CNN, on the other hand, I just did, Caitlin Collins actually asked Jasmine Crockett some tough questions. I did a video on that the other day. She certainly treats Jasmine Crockett a lot differently than she treats Trump still, but I'm going to share a link, folks, just so you've got it. If you want to follow along on this article, this is the meat of this program. This is the story, exclusive, how Trump's own appointees aided Russiagate plot against him. This is by Paul Sperry from Real Clear Investigations. He is one of the premier investigative reporters, folks. He does great work. I'm gonna share that if you want to just pull up the article, or if you want to share the article, or if you want to share the stream, however you want to do it. But this information needs to get out. So let's get right into this. When Obama,
hey, everybody, hold on. You see everybody how Neil gets me on the show and then I pull it away from the real topic. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm bringing it back.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's get back on point here.
But Mike, one of the things is you'll find that this is actually ties into everything that you always talk about, because we are talking about an intelligence apparatus that is utilizing these things, the deep state that is formed against the American people. So when Obama administration officials manufactured U.S. intelligence tying Donald Trump to Moscow following his stunning 2016 victory, they had no idea Trump's own political appointees would help them undermine Trump's presidency and his chances of re-election in 2020. Real Clear Investigations' review of recently declassified documents and exclusive interviews with former Trump officials reveals for the first time how key members of Trump's cabinet and other appointees during his first term shrouded the previous administration's machinations and either deliberately or inadvertently misled the public to thinking that fake Russiagate intelligence was real. Former Special Counsel John Durham, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and former CIA Director Gina Haspel dismissed or buried evidence that cast doubt on foundational document of the Russiagate hoax, the intelligence community assessment prepared in the waning days of the Obama administration. So this was the ICA. Okay, it was prepared in the waning days of the Obama administration, and this was buried. Okay, now I think we all knew Gina Haspel was obviously off the deep end. Okay, he'll talk about Gina Haspel. Mike, I got to ask you a question. Did you ever meet Mike Pompeo when you were talking with Trump?
Yes, I did. I was just going to bring that up. Pompeo, absolutely. Blocker. You guys just mean my personal experience after the 2020 election. He did a lot of blocking, everybody. The evidence that we had overseas, I could go on and on. I believe he was even part of the big settlement with Fox and Dominion voting machines. It just seems very suspicious. I think that Saturday when they had their big meeting, Pompeo comes out and says, "I'm not running for president, but we have things that he might have been in that meeting." I mean, there's just so many things with Pompeo that I felt very suspicious. Do I have cold facts that I could show people? No. But a lot of behavior deviations. Let's put it that way, everybody. A lot of behavior deviations. And when you have a deviation in normal behavior, what you would consider normal behavior, it needs to be looked in deeper. And I'm glad that's what they're doing right now, if that's what's going on.
Well, and I'll show you some stuff on Mike Pompeo in the article. We're going to get to the John Durham piece because I think that's the most damning. But another question I have for you, Mike, because Mike Pompeo, during the first Trump administration, up until the end of it, seemed pretty legitimate, right? I think a lot of people thought he was a good guy. It seemed Donald Trump kind of trusted him. Trump trusted some other people, though, that turned out to be bad. I think he tends to be a more trusting individual than people think he is.
Gee, does it rhyme with Mike Pence? Okay, keep going.
Yeah, there you go. So point being is that, but now Trump has clearly stated he doesn't want Pompeo anywhere near his administration. He trued that out earlier this year. So he's figured out what side Mike Pompeo is on.
Yeah, I think Pompeo's stuff revealed, I think, after the 2020 election, at least it did more to myself. His name kept coming up as I tried to get to secure our elections and get to the bottom of the 2020 election. His name kept coming up and getting as blocks. When you go back to the first administration, where myself having access or whatever and doing anything with the president, I mean, there were a lot of blockers, a lot of what I call blockers, many blockers from my experience. And when I say blockers, where you're blocking not to be able to get to the truth on many things, including when the China virus came into play, as we know, I had stuff for that. And this went through the FDA, a lot of different things, but keep going.
Yeah. And Carrie, thank you for that super chat. And yes, it is delicious coffee. My coffee. You can go get that up to 50% off right now at mypillow.com/lumberjack. All right. Thank you for that super chat. Now, here's Mike Pompeo. Since you brought him up, we'll get to John Durham here after Pompeo. What flights did not know at that time was that the CIA was also hindering the House probe of the ICA. Again, that's the Intelligence Community Assessment in the waning days of the Obama administration, folks, which basically said that Russiagate was a lie. As Trump's first CIA chief, Mike Pompeo was skeptical that his predecessor, Brennan, had gotten the Russian intelligence assessment as wrong as he was hearing from the autopsy conducted by the House Intelligence Committee. We showed him a draft, but he didn't believe it. Now, here's the scoop. Did he not believe it, or did he just not want it out there? That's a question. I'd love to see. What are your answers in the chat? Do you think Mike Pompeo just didn't believe the report, or that he just said he didn't believe it because he didn't want it out? He said we have to be he said that they had to be wrong on a lot of this stuff, said Derek Harvey, who worked as a senior analysis advisor with House Intelligence Committee from 17 to 22. As a result, he said, we didn't get a lot of cooperation from Pompeo. Multiple attempts to reach Pompeo by email and phone at his new jobs as senior executive director for the Center of Law and Government at Liberty University in Virginia, and advisor to Ukraine's top defense contractor, Firepoint, in Kiev, were unsuccessful. This is going to tell you a lot you need. Look at where they're working now. That's going to tell you a lot you need to know about these people. Let me get down here to Bolton, though, and we'll come back up to, or Durham, excuse me, and we'll come back up to the rest of it. But here, John Durham. And I know a lot of you folks, myself included, thought, wow, John Durham, the special counsel, he's going to get to the bottom of this. We really thought that he was potentially a good guy. Listen to this. Nevertheless, as Trump's first term drew to a close, there was one more opportunity to expose the Obama administration's machinations. Ironically, that was forestalled by the special counsel who had been appointed to investigate the origins of the Russiagate hoax, John Durham. It was Trump's Attorney General, Barr, who tapped Durham, an old DOJ colleague and friend, and we all know that Barr was no friend to Trump in the end. While Durham's final report, which was not issued until 2023, it raised serious questions, right, folks? The Durham report raised questions about the Russiagate probe. His most significant decision may have occurred in the final days of the 2020 election, when he quashed efforts to expose the plot to weaponize U.S. intelligence. That October, then National Intelligence Director John Ratcliffe, y'all remember John Ratcliffe? He was one of the good guys. He was constantly, around Trump. He was working with him. He knew this was all a line of hooey. He sought to declassify and release a devastating 44-page report that refuted the Obama-ordered intelligence community assessment's explosive finding that Moscow tried to swing the election to Trump. When the ICA was finally declassified this summer, it set off a firestorm of controversy, leading to the investigation of Brennan and Clapper and the indictment of James Comey. In 2020, however, Durham insisted the ICA review be kept under wraps. Durham argued he was using the secret report drafted by two career House Intelligence Committee investigators in his inquiry into whether the FBI and CIA had politicized and weaponized intel against Trump. Get that paragraph. He insisted that it be kept under wraps against Ratcliffe's wishes, okay, because he was going to use this inquiry, okay? And this was important to him. He was using the secret report. Folks, it never got used.
Right.
Durham specifically asked that the report not be declassified and released along with other things because he wanted to use it as part of his investigations and prosecutions, or so we presumed, the former senior ODNI intelligence official familiar with Ratcliffe's declassification effort. So this is important too, the way this is stated, or so we presumed, because if you're going to use it as prosecutions, obviously you have to keep it under wraps. So they're thinking, well, John Durham's doing a good job, just like we thought John Durham was doing a good job. Instead, he just continually kept it under wraps, folks. He worked against the exposure of the evil.
Yep.
John Durham.
Mm-hmm.
Ratcliffe, now CIA director, initially agreed to withhold the report, which remained buried for the next 5 years until
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard declassified and publicly released it virtually unredacted in July. That was when that bombshell came out. But this is why you didn't see it until then.
Right.
Right.
And Neil, this is, you bring up so many names there. This is what I've had to live, everybody, for over 5 years now. It's like being inside this big spy movie. You're going, okay. At one time, I thought Barr was okay, and then I met Barr many times, and when he spoke at Congress that time, and they just hammered him. He gave all the answers because you know what? You're part of it, Barr. You're part of the uniparty. You're part of the problem. You're part of the deep state. Going all the way back to Bush Sr. that he worked for back in the day, the evil. And Barr came out, remember everybody, and tried to completely suppress the stolen election of 2020. We've got that evidence out there that he did that. Now you talk about Ratcliffe, that he got talked into covering up. Is he good? Is he good? I mean, okay, let me tell you something. John Radcliffe did come out with a report on January 7th of 2021, everybody, saying that China was involved. This is why I lean towards Radcliffe being good. He came out with this report, but
remember that.
But the news of January 6th and everything just buried it. The media didn't pick it up that China was involved in attack or with our election, vulnerabilities in our election. That was Ratcliffe put this out on January 7th of 2016. That should have been picked up all over the world by the news and said, hey, let's look into this. Maybe some people are right, like Mike Lindell, that have this evidence. But I don't know if you know this. The evidence that I had, the first evidence I got, everybody, on January 9th of 2021 goes all the way back to two people, Brennan and Clapper, that turned these election internet devices that steal elections, amongst other things, that were built to steal elections in other countries. Those two are front and center that turned it on our own country. So this stuff all has not come out yet, and it's all going to be coming out. And this is, you get back to the, for me, it's, hey, we've got to at least save our country, get the paper ballots hand counted right now. But on a parallel track with like Tulsi Gabbard's office digging into this and releasing stuff like this summer, this is huge. Huge. Yes, I see that.
This is so funny. Gary, you gotta be kidding me. I just couldn't help myself.
But Neil, this is this Durham, all this stuff is like, for me, I've had to live this for 5 years going, who's good? All of a sudden you think this person's good, and then you have a deviation in behavior and it flips. Pompeo, both Pompeo and Bill Barr, Chris Krebs, all these revealed their true colors after the 2020 election. These people that just, all of a sudden they're exposed. But the problem we had, everybody, is the media didn't tell you that. I've said all this before, everybody. The place we're in now is 100 times better than back then. Because our voices, we can spread the word like we are today of these criminals. Yes, criminals. And when Donald Trump makes his tweets calling people traitors and such, it doesn't mean just because you're a Democrat. That's like telling me, Mike Lindell's against the Democrat. I actually shout out against the Republican, the uniparty Republican, more than all the Democrats put together, because it's disgusting that we have blockers out there, or people that you think are this, and they turn out to be this. You think they're good, and they're evil.
Well,
and there's no in between.
I want to go back, Mike. You were talking about Bill Barr. I still remember him in the congressional testimony sipping his coffee and taking the Democrats down. And I thought, wow, this guy's smart. And he is smart. Okay. The guy's smart.
Yeah.
Okay. And he can obviously stand up in that. But that just because you're smart doesn't mean you're good. Okay.
Right.
Now,
right.
I'm going to bring this in too.
Hey, wait, I got to hold that just 1 second.
Okay.
I got to tell you this, you guys, I got to tell a funny story about Pompeo and Bill Barr. Okay. So I had met, this is classic funny. So I had met both of them, only once before this, right? And for me, and I would get them confused. I would get them confused. They were both at that time both overweight and so on. And anyway, I'm at the White House, okay? And I'm at the White House, and I was coming down the steps there, and I was speaking the next 3 days later an event with Pompeo. I believe it was in Iowa, and Pompeo was a speaker, and I was going to be a speaker. So anyway, here comes Bill Barr down the steps, and I go, and I said hello, and I didn't say. I thought it was Pompeo, right? So I said hello, and I said, and he goes, hello, Mike. Obviously he knew who I was, and it was pretty polite for Bill Barr, and I said. And I just started talking. Actually, I think that might have been the first time I ever had a big interaction with him. So we're talking, and I said, "Yeah, can I get a picture?" We took a picture, and I said, "Hey," I said, "I'm going to be speaking with you. I'm going to be speaking with you this week, right?" And he goes, "You are?" And he said, and he looks at me like, "What?" And I go, and he goes, "In Michigan?" And I said, "Yeah, I think it's in Michigan." I said, "You and I are the speakers," and he's going, "Okay." And you can see the look on his face. Well, here it turns out he had a meeting with a speaker thing that he had to do, but there's no way Mike Lindell should have been at that meeting. So when I left him, he's probably going, "Why is Mike Lindell coming to our secret meeting in Michigan? He knows all about it."
Well, I'll be sharing a stage with Mike Lindell.
Yeah. I just think, and afterwards I walked away, and then I go, "Oh my gosh, that was Bill Barr. That wasn't Pompeo," because I just kept agreeing. I knew the meeting was in Iowa. I go, "Oh yeah, it's in Michigan." It probably scared him to death. He probably got on the phone. "Why is Mike Lindell coming to our secret double up meeting here?" Anyway, keep going. I just thought I'd share that with the audience. I have all kinds of stories. I think back all these criminals working with them and dealing with them. But anyway.
Well, so you guys understand, okay, we've already covered that John Durham withheld the information before that he was supposed to be using in his prosecution that never got used. And now check this out. Ex-special counsel John Durham undercut case against James Comey in interview with prosecutors. This way back in October 6th from ABC News. John Durham, the former special counsel who spent nearly 4 years examining the origins of the FBI investigation into President Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and its alleged ties to Russia, told federal prosecutors investigating James Comey that he was unable to uncover evidence that would support false statements or obstruction charges against the former FBI director. Sources familiar with the matter told ABC News. Do you know what's interesting about that? What does that mean? I mean, we all saw the testimony in Congress.
Yeah.
We know he was lying. I just don't get this. Anyways, federal prosecutors in Virginia met remotely with Durham in August to understand the findings of his investigation, according to sources familiar with the meeting. And his conclusions raised the prospect that Durham, who was once elevated by Trump and other Republicans, believing he would prosecute high-level officials involved with the investigation of the president's 2016 campaign, could now become a key figure aiding Comey's defense. See, Trump had a number of people working against him. The prosecutors also met with a team of lawyers at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C., who had investigated Comey for years, including calling him to testify before a grand jury in 2021, but were unable to identify any chargeable offenses committed by Comey, sources familiar with the meeting said. So apparently lying to Congress, of course, which Bannon and Navarro went to jail for, or not, they just didn't answer the congressional subpoenas. They didn't even lie. They just said, well, we're not going to, answer your questions. And they claimed executive privilege. And now apparently you can lie, though, under oath, and that just doesn't matter. I mean, this is wild to me. But let's go back to this on Durham here from before. After we gave, let's see. Okay, after we gave Durham the report. So again, folks, this is going back to the Real Clear Investigations article. So this is after Tulsi Gabbard releases it. After we gave Durham the report, along with over 1,000 pages of other classified documents, he went ghost. said the former senior intelligence official who spoke on condition of anonymity. We didn't hear from him, and he didn't appear to do anything with the report. So he sat on that report that he said he was going to utilize in the prosecutions, and he didn't do anything with it. He basically kept it hidden for 5 years until Tulsi released it. Although Gabbard's release of documents makes clear that the ICA was a foundational document in the Russiagate hoax, okay, that's that intelligence community assessment, which was garbage, Durham all but ignored it in his final report on the scandal. Outside of a footnote on page 7 citing the ICA, which says, see also intelligence community assessment assessing Russian activities and intentions in recent U.S. elections, there is no mention of the ICA elsewhere in his 316-page report, nor does it appear in a recently declassified appendix to the report, even though Durham had interviewed the 2 Obama officials principally responsible for putting together the ICA, Brennan and Clapper. I have no clue why Durham left it out, the former senior intelligence official said. Attempts to reach Durham for comment were unsuccessful. The declassified ICA is now being used as evidence in criminal probes of Obama-era figures, including Brennan, by the Justice Department. Prosecutors in the Southern District of Florida, who are reportedly trying to build a conspiracy of corruption case, recently issued a flurry of grand jury subpoenas targeting Brennan and Clapper, former FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, and other Obama-era officials who were involved in the crafting of the ICA. They seek communications record and other documents covering the 2016 to 2017 period when classified versions of the assessment were drafted and an unclassified version was released to the public. Yes, the unclassified version released to the public to cast doubt and sow disparagement upon the Trump presidency. And they did this. This is your intelligence community. So again, you go back now. I hope this is all making more sense to you as we talk. Here she is, former CIA officer. Okay. And this is Senator Alyssa Slotkin. By the way, I think it's important to note, I'm going to go here. I'm going to get you another little thing on Alyssa Slotkin. For those who are unfamiliar with her, I want you to watch this. This is her indoctrinating children right here.
I don't mind being different. Different is special. I think what matters most is what a person is like on the inside. And inside, I'm happy. I'm having fun. I'm proud. I am jazz. I don't mind being.
So this is all dealing with the LGBTQIA plus XY to the Z to the 9/4 power, whatever it's going to be called today. So this is, they say that she is a moderate. Okay, what the hell's going on? These words mean something. How come every quote unquote moderate Democrat wants to trans your kids?
Yeah, well, that I don't believe that. I've said this before, Neil. That's a 95.5, if that. It's not a moderate. It's a 95.5. I just think this is what the media is telling everybody. The media, it's all about marketing, everybody. It's all about marketing, and they had us convinced, if everybody remembers, that we had taken God out of schools and a nation had turned its back on God, but they convinced us going into the 2020 election that everybody wanted this trans stuff and women and men's sports and men and women's sports and all this garbage, this nonsense. They had us convinced. And this is why I say the 2020 election is the most important ever, because if we wouldn't have had all those deviations that raised the flag for people to go, hey, well, that doesn't make sense, we would have all went to bed if they would have predicted right. Biden would have won, and we would all looked around like you and I and your audience and said, well, we brought it on ourselves. We took God out of our schools. We're at 90 or 80% them and 20% us that want traditional family and God and Christianity and all this stuff. But it was a big lie, everybody. That was the media flip-flopping on us. We're 80% of people in this country, I don't care what party you're in, are normal, God-fearing people, I believe, that want have a good life while you're here before you go to heaven, and you don't want all this nonsense. But the media has convinced us so much that, okay, this lady's a moderate. What do they do that for, everybody? So they can steal your elections, and then you believe it. then you believe it that there's people out there that they're all like this crazy nut job you just seen in that video. This lady's a nut. She's got mental issues. She needs help, serious help. She needs help. Not the people she's talking about. They need all kinds of help because they've been let go. They've been brainwashed by the media. They're empty inside. They need help, and that's where we're at. I mean, it's a moderate. She's as far from a moderate. She put her over there, and so far to the left, she'd make your head spin.
Yeah. Well, and this is what's got him really upset, Mike, because we're here in Minnesota. My Pillow's a Minnesota company. We just found out that Minnesota is the greatest funder of Al-Shabaab terror network. This came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the fraud has well exceeded $1 billion in Minnesota. At the same time, California is getting taken to court for basically utilizing somebody's their immigration status. I don't know how to say this because they're illegal aliens that they're trying to give free college to. The same thing happening in Minnesota. And they're actually preferencing those people. So they're taking the tax dollars of the citizens of the state and then giving it to fund college tuitions for illegals. And here's what they're really upset about. The golden age. America's foreign-born population drops by 2.3 million thus far under Trump. 2.3 million. The nation's foreign-born population is continuing to decline. Newly released Bureau of Labor Statistics data reveals as President Donald Trump's administration carries out an aggressive immigration enforcement agenda. The preliminary data, analyzed by the Center for Immigration Studies Director of Research, Stephen Camarota, suggests that in September, the 16-year-old and older foreign-born population declined by an additional 101,000. From January through September, the number of foreign-born residents in the United States aged 16 and older has decreased by 2 million. Camarota suggests that the total foreign-born population, including those younger than 16-year-olds, has declined by 2.3 million. Compare this to the rapid mass migration ushered in under the Biden administration when the foreign-born population grew by an unprecedented 7.4 million from January 2021 to January 2025. And folks, that is only the ones that they have a record of.
Right.
How many people just came across the border were not even counted.
Right.
On President Joe Biden's watch, a record 52 million immigrants were part of the total U.S. population, or about 15.5% of the population.
Right. No, that's right. And I'll tell you, you look at all the stuff that's getting uncovered here in Minnesota with all the illegals and what they've done. I mean, I read stuff yesterday how they put in all this fake stuff that their kids have autism or whatever, and they're doubling this, taking all this money that we the taxpayers paid, and then shipping it back to other countries for terrorist activities. This is crazy. This is bizarre. And then we got a governor that's going, all is well, all is well. How does he even explain this? I haven't seen the news. How is he explaining that to the people of Minnesota, what he has done as governor under his watch? What has happened? Was he in on it, or did he know what was going on? How has he explained himself? Neil, have we heard?
No. I mean, how do they explain any of this, Mike?
I better not be seen in public doing my stupid walk and dance for a little bit because of what's coming out of Minnesota. Yeah, well, Governor Tim Walz, you've got a lot of explaining to do.
He's in hiding. Tim Walz is in hiding. The only thing he's doing is coming out and speaking out against gun ownership. That's the only thing he's been doing lately, because he can't answer the questions in Minnesota of what's going on and why we have over $1 billion in fraud in this state, COVID era fraud. And then also now we've got funding terrorism. I mean, my gosh, check this out. You'll love this, because these people just lie, and they lie on top of lies. Chris Murphy of Connecticut. He's another quote unquote moderate, folks. I just want you to know. Also, we now have a whites only refugee policy. They aren't trying to hide the white supremacy anymore. And then Bernie Moreno says it's a fake story. But speaking of whites only, and then he texts this Democrat, Senator Whitehouse defends membership in private beach club that's allegedly all white. I'm sorry, it hasn't happened yet, the Democrat from Rhode Island initially said when asked if the club had any minority members. So this is what's so interesting about this is that the Democrats, okay, I understand that there are the useful idiots, right? The people who vote for the Democrats who vote for the Democrats. Okay. And they're genuinely they see racism as a problem and all this kind of stuff. But the elites, the Democrat elite, they don't see this as a problem, man. They do not. And you can hear it in their language.
Right.
Remember, they don't know how to use computers. I mean, how do you expect them to be able to get an ID to vote, Mike? I mean, how are they going to get to the DMV? I mean,
Right.
they act like they're complete idiots just based on their skin color. And don't ever forget that the Civil War was fought, the North against the South, and where were all the Democrats at that time? In the South, okay?
In the South, yeah.
The Dixiecrats, they call them. Those people have always been on the side of slavery. It's just now slavery is presented in a different form, and it's called welfare.
Mhm. We're in a time though that I really think, like I say, if I do run for governor, and one of the things I want to really get the message across to everybody is just like we were in, when we were in DC for the DC convention, and I went into the inner city of Chicago. You're at a time where we have a lot of leverage, like in Minneapolis, going with all the people down there, the blacks, the Hispanics, and they're down there, and they're going, hey, our resources, when you call the typical Democrat stuff they're giving away, isn't going to them. It's going to the illegals.
Yes.
It's being stolen from them. So you got this leverage right now going, hey, you guys, there's a better way. There's a better way than you relying on the government here, because they're not helping you anymore. They lie to you every election. Typically, here's what we're going to do for you with the freebies stuff. And then they flip it on the head and you don't get it anyway. And then the cycle starts over. But this time around is very different. It really is. If you can get the marketing out there, and this is what I've been involved in. I tried to do it when we were in Chicago. The marketing should be, hey, we're all people here, and you're put into this, with the black population and the Hispanics and they're here legally, or they lived here all their lives. And here what was set up is to control the Democrats' welfare stuff and all these socialistic programs. They're going for the illegals. They're just stealing the money. It's been going on for a long time, and the per dollar doesn't get to the cause. And there are some good things there that have to be taken care of. Back when I worked with Teen Challenge, Salvation Army, charter school, I was working with all this stuff before all this politics stuff came along, and I've got to sound the alarm about the machines. But good common sense solutions to people that are homeless, people that are, that don't that are hurting, and there's better ways. There's a lot better ways as a businessman to figure that out than to just, because now you have a bigger problem for them. They're not getting the money anyway. It's going to illegals that came here illegally. I heard that over and over in Chicago. Everybody, we had a room full of the downtown Chicago. Some from the projects going, hey, we're voting for Donald Trump. We're voting a different way. You need a different input to get a different output. And we're at a great time in history, everybody, to be able to get this done. You need to show this big problem, and it's showing its ugly head through the illegals that are here. And then you've got these Democrats, like Waltz and stuff, these nut jobs, far left crazies, or the mayor of Minneapolis, all of them going, hey, we're going to offer you more. We're going to offer you this. You get a driver's license. We're a sanctuary state for illegals. We're a sanctuary state. You can drive here, vote here, come to Minnesota. Well, you think the regular people that live here, the minorities that we talk about, you think they're happy about that? You are hurting them more than anybody. The rest of us in Minnesota that live on the, in the outskirts of the cities or whatever, in the rural areas, we're not seeing that like they are. They're the ones that are getting just hammered by Waltz and other crazy governors and crazy states like Colorado and California.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's insane. I'm going to finish up on that Real Clear Investigations piece, but I do want to mention again, we have the early Black Friday specials going on at mypillow.com/lumberjack, folks. Big savings on the best sleep products available, but also health and wellness products and everything else. And I want to point out again, I can't get enough. I keep pointing this out. I think if you have kids, grandkids, your kids, whatever, this special right here, I'm going to blow it right up for you. This children's Bible story pillow 5-pack for $29.98. You have got to be kidding me. $6 for a Christmas gift. Something that, I mean, it's not only got the picture of the Bible story, but then on the back, it's got the story out of the Bible. From, like the story of creation right out of Genesis, and you can read that story right off the pillow to the kids, and then they can sleep on God's word. I mean, it's just something
amazing.
Wonderful about that. And then I love this, Mike, your blankets, comforters, and duvets as low as $25. And like you said,
there's like pillow shams. Here's an example, you guys. The pillow shams, they're a set of two. $12.88. They're normally $69.98. You get a set of two. We have, we went over the top on these early Black Friday specials, and it's free shipping on your entire order. This is going to go away this time of year. All the shippers try to raise the price of their shipping, but right now the shipping's on myself and my employees with that promo code Lumberjack. And those slippers, you guys, $39.98. We're going to throw in a bottle of spray, a leather spray, absolutely free. But they're normally on sale $59.98. You take a $20 off for promo code Lumberjack and a free bottle of the leather spray for every pair of slippers you get. Those are great gifts, and free shipping. Free.
Even on mattresses still, folks. That'll end pretty soon. I think you said you're going to try and keep that going through the weekend. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, we're going to do through the weekend. You guys get yourself a gift of a mattress or mattress topper and that, because they ship for free. Those big ticket items are expensive to ship. Get healthy. The Giza Dream Sheets, you guys, they all came in yesterday. I know a lot of you have been emailing me going, Mike, when is my color coming back in? You only have one color in the queen size. You guys, they all came in, and they're going to go fast. A very limited amount came in. You're going to save over 50% and free shipping on the Giza Dream Sheet. This is our flagship, one of our flagship products. It's our president's favorite product. I mean, the Giza Dream Sheets, when I'm away from home, this is what I miss the most on is those sheets. You can't explain it to everybody. It's the best sheets in history, bar none. Remember, 10-year warranty on all our products and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And hold it, I'm going to add this, Neil. I forgot to add this. Okay. You guys, you can buy these Christmas presents now because I'm extending the 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2026. So you can get them as gifts. When they open it, they have 60 days after that. They can return them. They could return if they had any problem whatsoever. Let's say a size. Let's say they just they just wanted to return them. So you are covered by our 10-year warranty, our 60-day extended money-back guarantee, free shipping. My operator standing by 800-568-2865. And you guys remember, these are employees that fought hard to be able to work from home. Our own government that has attacked MyPillow more than any company in history. They attacked those home reps and tried to take away their jobs. But that's one thing we did win early on. So it's a win-win-win.
Yes, you took on the IRS and won. How impressive, Mike. Here, I'm going to share, folks, one more time. I want to share this article. If you want to dig into this further, there is the link. I just shared it in the chat. Real Clear Investigations. Paul Sperry, this article, he is one of the best investigative reporters. Then they go on here. Since Durham didn't include relevant and incriminating information available to him about the criminal conspiracy against a duly elected president, history should remember his efforts as a dismal failure, Gordon told RCI. He treated nearly all conspirators with kid gloves, Gordon added. His gentle approach was the polar opposite of the special counsel Robert Mueller investigation, which relentlessly pursued Trump associates for anything under the sun, even though they were all innocent victims of the Russia collusion hoax. Gordon notes that Mueller and his prosecuting staff, who found no evidence of a Trump-Russia conspiracy, dispatched FBI agents to grill Gordon 3 times between 17 and 19. They also got a grand jury to subpoena his phone record. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, you guys all know the Penguin, demanded Gordon provide additional documents in 2019, and he complied. A retired Navy commander and former Pentagon spokesman under George Bush, Gordon said he was forced to run up a 5-figure legal bill defending himself against the fake scandal. And I know, Mike, you're thinking, a 5-figure legal bill. Wouldn't that be nice? Because it's just a reality. But this is, I just, folks, John Durham, who is supposed to be a good guy, and go read the article if you want to read about Gina Haspel, more about Pompeo and the others. This was absolutely a sham and what was done. And then we were told that he was the good guy doing this investigation, and he was not. Sadly, a lot of Trump's appointees worked against him, Barr obviously being one of them who appointed John Durham to this job. But folks, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, please go check out the specials at mypillow.com/lumberjack or call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. I know you all love Mike. I love Mike too. Mike, we all love you.
Free shipping, everybody, through the weekend. Let's do it. Let's come on, help my employees, help the show, help yourself. God bless you all.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining us today. Yes, it's the quintuple dip, folks. You get to help the show, help the employees, help Mike, get yourself the best sleep products available, and save a bunch of money. Where else do you get a deal like that? All right. See you on the next episode. Peace.